The Selvage Jeans sewing tutorial. This is the slow version, part 6, the waistband. Look for the link for the fast version. As well as the waistband, we need belt loops. I'll be using this bias tape tool, and I have some spare fabric. Cut strips of just under 1 inch, 2.5 centimetres in width. We need about 25 inches, 60 centimetres altogether. We need to neaten both edges. The edges will be folded into the centre. Cut a point to help you load the tape maker. Such a handy gadget. Press in the fold with a bit of steam. Then top stitch both edges, quite close to the fold. Cut into 5 inch, 13 centimetre lengths. We only need 5. Make sure you have marked these notches on the waistband. I have ironed on the interfacing. Belt loop placement. Place the front loops at a point 3/4 of the way between centre front and the start of the pocket. Pocket to centre front is 4 inches 10 centimetres. So the centre of the belt loop is 3 inches from the centre front. For the back loops, around 1.5 inches, 4 centimetres behind the side seam. And one at the centre back. Attach at the waistline with a few back and forward stitches. On the waistband, fold in and press the seam allowance of the unnotched edge. Pin the waistband in place. Match notches to centre front and back and the side seams. Pin all around ready for stitching. I like to baste to ensure accuracy here. I sew like a home dressmaker, not a seamstress. Due to years of making vogue patterns in my youth, basting is ingrained. I have used sample makers when working commercially, but when I'm doing the sewing, I'm old school. I like to take my time. It's a good idea to use a seam allowance guide here. An accurate seam allowance will give you an even width waistband. After you have made these jeans, you may like to try my slim fit jeans pattern. Originally designed for women, but I have as many men making up this pattern as women. The skinny pair I made up in my first jeans making tutorial, check out the link, were worn by my son until they were just about threadbare. So that is the first stage of attaching the waistband. And it's looking good. The zip top is the perfect distance away. Both ends of the waistband line up nicely here. And the position of the zip is perfect. The waistline seam needs to be pressed up towards the waistband. Then we stitch both ends with the seam allowances folded in. I find the zipper foot useful here. You don't want all that bulk going under the foot. So that is both ends stitched. Miter the corners and trim the seam allowance. Grade to avoid a hump. Grading is when you trim the layers separately at slightly different widths. Turn through. And push out the corners. With both ends turned through, fold the waistband to the inside and pin. Again, I like to baste this stage. We are ready to top stitch all the way around from the front. It's difficult to know where to start. I usually do it with 2 joins rather than go all the way around in one go. It's much easier to keep the jeans on the left while top stitching this stage. Otherwise you have just too much bulk going under the machine arm. The garment is quite a handful at this stage, so keep a firm hold. I am thinking at this stage, why did I choose such a heavy-duty denim? It does prove, though, that with a bit of care and attention, it can be done. You will find a medium weight denim a cinch to make up. I go a little way across the top so as not to have a join in the stitching at the corner. Then continue along the top. This edge is a great deal easier. Overlap the stitches to finish. Now to finish the belt loops. Work out how long you would like them. Think about the width of your belts. Measure how much you are turning in and mark the other loops. So fold up and pin in position. Leave the long ends to trim off later. Use regular thread to match the top stitching. Stitch a bar tack using a narrow zigzag and short stitch length. Once forwards and backwards should be secure enough. Then stitch the bottom edge, making sure the belt loop is straight. Cut off the surplus end as close as you can to the stitching. We will be stitching the hems and sewing buttonholes in the final episode, part 7, finishing. See the links to all the episodes. If you haven't already done so, check out the pattern. You will find it at angelakane.com/sewing-jeans. Thank you for watching this extended tutorial for sewing selvage jeans.